Welcome to the Jon Paul Show, brought to you by AdventuresInMinistry.com and the Palisades Church of Christ in Birmingham, Alabama, and the Allons Church of Christ in Allons, Tennessee, and also the Lads2Leaders program, which we'll be talking a lot about today. Thank you for being here. This is the Jon and Paul Show. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Jon A&D Paul Show. Go to the website at jonandpaulshow.com. And don't forget about YouTube. Be a subscriber. But right now, I'm subscribing to what Podine has to say. What's up, bud?
Good morning, everybody.
Now, I'm amp it up a little bit.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. I see Landon's joining us, so we have one faithful follower who is sitting here watching us. Landon, it is Jamboree time, so that's why I'm looking tired here this morning. But man, I hope everybody's having a great day. Spring is in the air, Paul. I don't know what it's like in Birmingham, but spring is in the air down here. It's probably why everybody's sick.
Well, it was like the low was 30 on Monday, and today the high is 80. So
see, that's why we're going to get sick.
That's why we're going to get sick, and that's why that brings up weird storms and green skies and things like that.
It does. You just made me think of something here, so I'm going to check it while we're introducing everything. So, Paul, you had a good week so far.
Good week so far. Oh, I gotta look to see where I'm going here. Yes, I'm good. I know. I'm looking at like 5,000 different screens here. There we go. We're up. No, there. How much production stuff happening?
No.
Caleb behind the glass there helping us out this show, and what's happening here? He's trying to tell me what to do. This, Jon, you can sit there and do nothing if you want.
I'm now looking, Paul, at the Facebook page, and I'm seeing that you are basically, we got a quarter of you on there, so that's awesome.
Trying to figure out why am I going further away? Oh, okay. Is that a little bit? Are we having I feel like I need a good night, Paul. See, I think on. What's happening? Again, Jon, we have a show happening. You can talk about
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel sorry. We're having a good time here. We're having a little technical difficulties for Paul here, but that's okay. He's going to get it all figured out here in just a second. We're glad that you're joining us today for the Jon and Paul Show. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to talk about. Final Four is getting ready to happen. Landon's asking. Well, I'll tell you about that in a second here, Landon. Asking about which Jamboree show is the best this year. I'm not going to say on this show because this could be taken and it could be really used against me. But I will say, Landon, that this is probably the best Jamboree that I have seen in many years. It's got an old school feel to it. Paul will like that.
What does that mean?
What do you mean? It's because it's an
old school. Paul will like the old school feel. Oh, yeah.
It's back like in our days.
Okay. Well, you made it sound like that I like the old stuff.
No, I'm not saying that. But it's a very good show all the way through. There's an alumni show. That's really awesome. You would love to see that, Landon. But it's going to be a good one. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I know who I think is going to win, but I've been wrong before.
You're wrong a
lot. Except about the Final Four, Paul.
Did you pick the Final Four? Oh, I didn't know that.
No, but I did pick somebody that you keep dogging me out for.
I'm not dogging you out. I just didn't see it happening, but obviously it's happening, so there's that.
It is happening. Final Four starts tomorrow. Can you believe that? First of all, Paul, I know that none of us thought this was going to be the Final Four, considering how all of our picks went. But has this been the most surprising Final Four that you can remember in recent times?
It's the most off the chalk that I've ever seen before that looked like it was going to be.
Yeah, definitely. Who'd have thought the most chalk was Virginia that was going to be in there?
Well, I did pick them to go to the Final Four. So
I did too.
I got one.
I got 2. That's all I got. I got 2 of the 4.
Yeah, that's good. Well, tell us who you picked. Go ahead.
I picked I picked originally was Duke and Gonzaga and Virginia and Auburn. Yes, I see Paul's face. He's enjoying it. Who's winning the Jon and Paul show bracket? I don't know. We have to go back and look. Last time I looked, Paul was winning.
Yeah, Paul's not winning anymore because
are you not?
There's no way I'm winning. There's no way. Not with just one team in the Final Four. I don't know why my screen's not moving. But
we're gonna go here and check this out. Not CBS News. I need CBS Sports. Let's check this out, Paul, and let's see who is winning up here in the tournament as we're going. Did you see Lipscomb made it to the final of the NIT?
Yes, I did.
It was close. They did. I was proud of them. They did very good.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. My internet. I hate my internet. It's not helping me today.
Oh, the Jon and Paul show. Here we go. My brackets. Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. We do have a new leader.
Is it you?
It could be.
Oh, brother.
It could be. We have a new leader, everybody.
Well, I told you.
If Landon says if Auburn doesn't win it all, it's a waste. I don't know about that. It would definitely be a waste of toilet paper.
No, I already had too many of those. So Virginia winning would be a neat thing since they lost the number 16 seed last year.
That would be interesting.
Story, I thought. My neighbor is an alumni of Virginia, so I'm kind of hoping, watching that.
Biggest surprise, Texas Tech or Auburn?
Auburn.
Really?
Anybody from the SEC is a big surprise except for Kentucky and Florida, maybe.
Florida's nowhere near back where they used to be.
Well, I'm talking back in the day. I mean, Tennessee,
yeah.
Now, but, 2 years ago, nobody would have put anybody except for Kentucky in the Final Four.
True. That's true.
Way to represent the SEC, I guess.
Hey, it was kind of cool that the Kentucky fans started chanting SEC when Auburn took down North Carolina, which I know you don't like, but that was kind of cool. Everybody started the SEC chant inside the arena.
Yeah.
But
that's great. Wonderful.
I think Michigan State has to be the favorite going into this weekend. No doubt.
Yeah, I guess so.
Landon says, I guess it's not a waste because it's a great accomplishment for them, but I wanted my Tar Heels to win it all. Hey, if you look at our bracket, it's either everybody picked Duke or North Carolina, Paul.
That is true. I've got to stop here just a second. I'm working on things here. Hey, Caleb, is there a reason why my screen's too narrow? What do I need to do to fix that? Oh. Really? Okay, gotcha.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Caleb Sampson right there, helping us out, hooking us up, being a great producer. So, interesting weekend, Jamboree going on. Come on down. If you're near us, we'd love to have you at Faulkner. Come and see a part of it. Going to be a great show. It is closed. The ticket sales are closed online. There's only 60 seats left, I believe, for this week or for tonight's show or tomorrow's show. Tonight's show may be sold out. So come on down. We'd love to have you be a part of it.
Yeah, Saturday night usually is sold out.
So it's going to be a good one.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. You're acting like I wasn't talking. Okay. So. Okay. Weird. That's about as good as it's going to get, I think. Kind of have a close up. I don't like that. I guess I can. Well, I can't back up. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry for the yeah. Sorry about that. Let's see. What's next? Talk about, Jon. I'm talking about basketball.
Well, I guess we can get into the topic for today, Paul, if you want to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good topic everybody seems to like, or most folks do.
Yep. Well, I mean, considering I'm sitting in the office right now, so I think it'd be a interesting time. This is getting a time where everybody, if you are working generally in the southeast, especially um, at a congregation, you have either at some point participated or been a part of a congregation that has lads to leaders. Paul.
That is correct. So, John, let me ask this: how long have you been involved in Lads2Leaders?
I've been involved with lads to leaders for 25 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess about the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
You realize that you and I have more experience than a lot of guys on the board.
Do we really?
I mean, think about that. I mean,
That is probably true.
almost every coordinator, we could probably. I'm not saying we can do it better than them. I'm just saying we've been around it for so long because I was a part of it as a kid in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you were probably even before that.
I was only in high school. Well, actually,
really?
well, take that back. I remember in the 80s they bought the book. Remember the big red book that Jack used to go around and sell? We had that. We never participated with the convention, but we used it in Bible class and training at our local church. I didn't go to convention until I was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So it's actually probably longer than that.
That's funny because I didn't participate until I was a senior in high school. I was attending the Hebron Church. My dad preached there, and which, by the way, shout out. I'm actually speaking at their homecoming next month, which is kind of weird.
You are.
They helped me graduate high school, so going back home, I guess. That'd be kind
They
of
want
fun.
to make sure that you're still kicking.
Yeah, they want to see what Bob's spawn is doing now.
You know, you know what, Paul, whenever I go back home, they all sit back and just like, wow, you're a minister.
But yeah, I was a senior in high school when doing lads, and then went to college at Faulkner, and of course hung out with Jack, and then went on some workshops and stuff, and we're gone every weekend.
Oh yeah.
Week. Worshiping over and did some training over at the old Cloverdale Church of Christ, and there in Montgomery, and in fact I had Jack as a professor.
Did you really?
Leadership class my freshman year.
Ah.
We were Rotunda 135, I think was the room number. And I'll never forget one of the classes. He literally opened the blinds in the room and he told everybody to look up at the sky and look at the clouds. What does that mean to you? And I thought, this man's crazy. And then I looked. I'm like, I said, what do you mean? And it wasn't like a class of 30. It was probably 10, 15. People that have scholarships. And we looked, and he says, make the sky count. He said, look at the sky and the clouds. You can form that into something that can build you up in your life. And I'm like, my goodness, you're right. You can make it anything you want to make it. And that was the point he's trying to make is if you have vision, if you have eyes, and you can see something, then you can create a goal for yourself. And what I thought was a bit crazy at the beginning was ingenious, and has created a program for over 50 years that has really, honestly, helped build preachers, ministers, church leaders, preachers' wives, elders' wives, and leaders in our country. So a lot of awesome things have come from it, from a student to college student to group leader. I mean, I think you and I probably followed almost the same path on that.
Right.
And except you've gone further. I mean, you loved it so much. You decided, hey, you know what? I want to work for them full time. So there you are. And,
yeah.
And we do have a good board. I say we because we're proud of what they do and what they bring forth for us each and every year, which is a big deal. They're we have 8 conventions now.
Mm-hmm.
More than that, if you think about groups of I hate to use the word cell, but a cell of people probably all over the world that are doing this that maybe we haven't reached yet.
Right.
Because of the reach of the program. So.
Well, Paul, I think one thing that people may be surprised, and you said it here a second ago, is that it has been around for 50 years.
It's not anytime soon, that's for sure.
No, we've kind of been in this 50th anniversary here for the last year, celebrating it and that hard work that Jack started, way back when.
Yeah. The one thing, I probably shouldn't say all of that, but one thing I loved about Jack, oh my goodness, he would take the most minuscule thing and turned it into the biggest, almost awesome point ever. And I remember in the Nashville at Auckland Hotel in his suite, we would go up early and do some work and set up and everything, and we'd have that devotional that night before we really got started. And he would go around the room and get people to say things and do things and participate, and he understands the art of inclusion and
he does
bringing the best out of people. And so I think that's something we do. The topic today is Lads2Leaders, but honestly, folks, this goes much deeper than that because of the reach it has, the benefit it has, and it cannot be replicated. It cannot be duplicated. This is what it is, and I just think that we're in good hands, and the church is in good hands by having this. But also, and John, I'm gonna pass it over to you. It's almost gonna be an interview thing because you work there. You're in the office right now.
Sure.
And I'm simply just a lay member,
You're a lay member. You're not a lay member. You are the AV coordinator.
With more qualified people running the cameras. Yeah, that's right. Right. They can hear you, right? Please tell me they can hear you. I think that's funny. Okay, so I had a really good point here, John. I was about to really throw some bright shade your way.
You were going to throw some bright shade my way.
Here's the thing. This has been my experience over the past 25 years of ministry. There's something that Lads offers that a lot of people don't realize. And I hate saying this, but you don't even have to go to convention to get the benefit of this. But there's like a curriculum that's available from 0 to adult that I know I've used in congregations in the past that really have worked well. And have really benefited that, especially congregations that can't find their own stuff or they're worried about the right stuff. You never have to worry about the solidarity of the foundation of the information coming out of that office. It's solid. You don't have to worry about it. But it's also something for all ages, John. Talk to us a little about that.
Yeah, it is, Paul. That's one thing that we do have as curriculum. And that's one thing I think people do misunderstand about Lads2Leaders is that this is not a youth program. First and foremost, a lot of people automatically think, oh, okay, well, we're talking about youth. And yes, the youth has a major focus of the program, but it is a program from like you said, from 0 to 100.
Family program.
Yes, it's very much a family program. And we do have curriculum. In fact, Paul, my good friend Paul Sperlin right there, he was an author. He was one of the author of one of the chapters this year for the Pearls book.
Yeah, that's okay.
And so, and Pearls, everybody has Bible Bowl, Paul. And so the whole concept behind Pearls is that it's not just learning facts, it's also learning concepts and learning things that are practical that go with it and putting in applications and putting them into your life. And so, yes, we do have curriculum of all different types and things to help the church out. And this is the thing that I like to tell people about Lads, Paul, is it's not just about Lads. Lads isn't a magic pill. The magic pill is God's word and studying God's word, like you said, as a family.
Right.
And putting it in there. Here's the thing, and this is what I wish anybody who's watching this or comes back and watches it later will get out of all of this. You and I have been in ministry, especially within youth ministry, for the last 20 plus years.
Long time.
Long time. Yes. Gray hair that's on my hair and Paul's head come a lot of it from youth ministry.
Fixing to shave my beard because it's gray. Go ahead.
It's great. There you go.
Summertime.
Here's the thing, Paul. The statistics and statistics, they of course people spin statistics in their own way. So take that with a grain of salt. But statistically, if a kid grows up in church and all they do is go to church on Sunday and Wednesday with their parents and that is it, that the retention rate within our brotherhood, we're only retaining 35% of our young people.
Right.
So that means we are losing nearly 6.5 out of 10. And we wonder why our numbers are going the way they're going. You know what I mean? And then if you have like a youth program that's at least there's something going on, that number jumps up close to around 50%. So we're keeping half of all of our people. Statistically, what it's saying is if a young person participates in Lads2Leaders, and we're not just talking about, oh, I did a speech or I held up a puppet one year. We're talking about people who really get involved in the program, that Lads has an 85% success rate of retaining those people and keeping them in the church.
That's good. That's really good.
And the thing, Paul, it goes back to what we said. It's because everybody's participating. It's a family. It's not a magic pill, but it's because everybody's involved.
Well, and I think that goes back to the foundational stuff that Jack wanted, which was the inclusion part. There is no family member that cannot be involved in this opportunity. And some congregations, again, I'm not saying the wrong thing here. Some congregations they can't. Oh, okay, I gotta fix that. Can't afford to go to a convention. And so some adjustments. It's funny. Some adjustments have to be made towards that. But the material's there to help a congregation to create their own finish line event. And if anything has been proven, it is that Jon Paul will come to your congregation, or Roy Johnson will come to your congregation and help give you the finish line event. I remember years and years, we'd have Jack come in.
Yep.
He'd hoist the kid on both shoulders and say, "I love Lads2Leaders," and we give out our trophies and our awards. And obviously in later years, Roy had been doing a lot of that. Even my father-in-law Philip has done some of that at some congregations. And so I know you've done some of that.
Yeah.
But this is not just for those that are learning about that. This is also sort of a maintenance and a preservation kind of an opportunity, because if you've been in this for a long time, and I've been a part of congregations that have been in it from the beginning, they need a refresher, and this office where you were, y'all are willing to go out and let them know a lot of other things we can do. There's things that are amazing that Lads offers that no one's taking advantage of. And it's a sad thing when you sit there in the award ceremony and the MC is saying, "Okay, we'll go past this because nobody did anything." I mean, I would mark that down and say, that's something we're going to do next year. You know? And for me, growing up, of course, you and I only was in 1 year, but even as a youth minister, the challenge was, how many things can we do?
Yes.
Because the kids, it becomes a competition between them, and all they're doing is gaining the God's word in it and an opportunity. So it's a win-win, I think.
Well, and I think what you said is right there, Paul. There's a lot of things. I think when a lot of people see Lads2Leaders, they see, okay, we're going to teach you how to lead, sing, and going to teach you how to speak, and that's about, and maybe do a Bible bowl. And there's some puppet things. But there's way more to this program than just that. Think about this, Paul. Do you know that there is a part that we have within it's a training part to teach young people how to teach, and adults?
Teach to teach, yes.
Yes. I mean, think about this, Paul. I mean, you know this as well as I do. Of course, being in ministry, it's kind of forces our hand a little bit. But how many teachers do you know have been teaching at the local congregation and they haven't stopped in the last 50 years because nobody else is there to teach the class?
I mean, that's a rampant situation in the church today.
It is. So what happens though when these people, and I'm not trying to be morbid with this, but what happens when these people pass?
Yep, that's morbid. But you're right. I mean, it's a thing. It's part of life, and people have to pick it up. Of course, then you get into this, and this is a situation too that you and I both have observed, is those who have taught for 20, 30, even 40 years in the school system, and they get in the church system, and they think it's the same thing, which it's not. Right. They treat it that, and I'm sorry, it's not. But there are different ways of doing that, and take your experiences there, and work with this program in training other people, other adults, and there's not nearly enough teacher training days in the church today that there needs to be.
Right.
And so this is a perfect scenario on doing this, and I think this is actually an area that Lads really doesn't market it this way.
Right.
Good. Not only do we offer you a great program, we could probably even come in here and help you, show you how to train more people to be teachers. And that's another whole next level stuff that Lads could do. I mean, you're like, yes, please give me more things for us to do. But I mean,
bring it on.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, but it's another level of dimension of what Lads actually offers, and the opportunities for growth and understanding and bettering the church it's endless. It really is.
Well, Paul, in the 80s, the Gospel Advocate ran an article, and they had a little girl in her mom's shoes and a little boy in his dad's shoes, and they asked the question, who's going to fill these shoes? we're still answering that. We're still asking that question here in 2019. And I think what you see with our church population and where we're at overall, you see that we are struggling with that of who are going to fill these shoes. Who are our next ministers? Who are our next elders and deacons? Who are the next godly women that are going to take the role and teach our younger children and to follow after the godly woman in Proverbs 31? And so you have all of these things, and so what we're trying to say is we've got to invest in our young people in many different ways, but especially in training them up in God's word and be leaders in the church.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was definitely something that we need to try to equip ourselves. I mean, that's Bible right there, and so that's definitely needed. And it's great to have these things at our fingertips, John.
Right.
So it's not just about an office in Montgomery; it's also about a website.
Correct.
John, talk to us about those things.
Well, you can come to our website if you have any questions. You want to see some things, you can go to Lads2Leaders.com. You can check out all of these things. Like Paul said, there are many of us here in the office that would be willing to come out. If you're interested, you want me to know, contact me. I'll come out there. I've got to head to Houston soon. I've got to go to Knoxville soon. On top of going to Denver soon, Paul. So, world traveling.
That's
then,
you.
And then, even to the foothills of London.
Well, that's a thing. I've heard about that.
Yes, it is possibly a thing.
That may be something for another show, I guess.
Yes, when it gets closer to time.
That's true. That's true.
Be watching where Jon and Paul may end up.
Imagine interacting with a show across the oceans, still talking and being able to do that. It's going to be kind of neat.
Caleb, you going to be able to do that for us?
I mean, Skype to Skype, right?
That's right.
Well, Jon, while we're on this topic, and I know we got some other things we got to take care of before we get out of here today, let people know how they can contact you. I mean, you mentioned the website, you mentioned the app. Give them the web address and maybe give them an email address they can contact.
The website is www.lads2leaders.com. You can contact me. You can email me at john@lads2leaders.com. You can find me. You can get me. Call here at the office if you want to call us at 334-215-0251. Many of us will be here and would love to talk to you. I mean, Roy will talk to you at 2 o'clock in the morning if you want to talk about Lads2Leaders. He'll wake up and do that. Brenda may not be happy with it, but he will do it.
I'll set a reminder.
Yeah. Send a reminder. Say, Roy, I want to talk about Lads2Leaders.
I'm going to send a reminder to wake me up at 2 o'clock this morning so I can call him and talk to him about
it. Just make sure you call him, not me.
Right. By the way, big bad producer there in our North AIM office just put the web address in the.
He did. Look at him being so sweet.
Good. We're so lucky to have him.
We are.
Let's see. Okay, so we're on the Lads talk. We're on the Lads discussion here. Tell them. I know we've talked about things, and I mentioned about how some people can't afford, but honestly, it's affordable.
Right.
A lot of folks attend it. Talk to them about what's happening in 2 weeks, and I
know
it's not all about the convention, but
right.
It is a fun event.
Right.
And I don't want to take too much of your stuff here, but tell them what's going on and what's happening and where it's happening.
Well, you're right, Paul. First of all, it's not about. I just repeated myself twice in a row like that. It's emphasis. It's definitely not about convention. In fact, that's one of probably the biggest misconceptions about Lads2Leaders is that it's all about what takes place Easter weekend in Orlando or Atlanta or Nashville or Louisville or Memphis or Dallas, or in a couple of weeks after that, Denver, and then California,
India,
the Philippines, Romania, Guyana, all those places. We are worldwide with all this. But a lot of people figure and got a misconception that that's what it's about. No, it's about year round. It's about doing it in your local church. It's about putting it into your local congregation's hands. But we do have a convention every year that's getting ready to come up on Easter weekend. Look, it's Easter weekend, just like what we do with Exposure. It's because it's when you get the best deals.
That's right.
And when everybody can get there, and it used to be a lot easier because people would have Fridays off of school for Good Friday.
And sometimes the spring breaks either
Yeah.
it or you go there afterwards, and so that's always a neat, cool thing. There, I don't remember like. Well, of course, I was senior when we started this, so obviously I didn't go after the hiding Easter eggs thing as an adult. But but I don't remember Easter at home.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So it's really neat.
But it is really cool. And the thing is, you get to come, like where we went for years in Atlanta, and you get to be around 25 to 3,000 Christians, kind of like what we do in Exposure when we're coming down there, or when in Nashville where there's nearly 9,000 people.
No, absolutely.
And you get together and you get to meet people and you get to see Christians and see some friends and family that you haven't gotten to see for a while and things like that. And plus you are putting in there and you're working on your skills, trying to improve as a speaker, as a song leader, debating. Let me tell you, my favorite event that happens on that weekend, Paul, is a non-competitive event that happens on Friday afternoon.
Don't. Go ahead.
The Bartimaeus event.
Go ahead.
Why?
I don't care. Go ahead.
It is.
It
is. If you've never been to a convention and seen the Bartimaeus, first of all, take your tissues, but go in there and support those kids.
And if you don't mind, I'll give a sort of a synopsis of what Bartimaeus is.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's sweet. You need tissue. So we have a kid. No big deal. This isn't just for kids. This is also adults on stage.
Right.
These are those with special needs, whether it be anything from Down syndrome to quadriplegic to autism, children and adults with challenges. And,
right.
It is quite something to see.
Yeah.
Just play those songs, and that's awesome. But to see them on stage, I mean, the room erupts when they get on stage, and they get excited because sometimes we don't recognize these individuals enough through our lives. We look at what we can do to fix them and to help them, but sometimes we need to celebrate them too. And this is a for that. And Lads does a superb job at putting this together. And I'm gonna say this, and I hope you don't get upset with me, but Jason Green and I have been friends since I was in college, and I love this man, and he is probably one of the most brute of men I've ever met in my life. I have literally seen him throw people by the hoodie across a room. Okay, but it was all in love. But this man is in charge of Bartimaeus for us in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
His heart simply melts, and it's neat to see people with that demeanor. And he's a great guy. He's just, he's all. But it's just people their personalities kind of change a little bit and soften up a little bit, and it's one of the most awesome things I've ever seen.
It is, and that's the thing, and you said it a second ago, Paul. It's probably a group of people that we don't recognize enough in the church, but it also shows these people getting up, loving the Lord, singing their songs, reading their scriptures, saying their things, and then it makes me look at myself and like, wow, I could do more.
Right.
And so it's not about the convention, but it's definitely a big piece of things.
Yeah. Well, I guess that anything else we need to discuss or talk about as far as Lads goes, I guess I will say this to all of our listening audience and those that'll watch this later, regardless of when you watch it through the year, because it'll be on YouTube forever. Pray for the office, pray for the program, pray for all those who are involved, regardless of when it is, whether it's convention or even just a regular day. Pray that people are using this and they're doing what they can to show leadership and grow leadership in the church. And just thank you to everyone who puts it on, and thank you to everyone who participates.
Yeah, definitely. And pray for us travel.
Absolutely. A lot of that happening, carrying a lot of big things that belong to entities that we hope everything stays secure and good and wonderful. And that's part of the relationship there. I mean, Lads2Leaders has a relationship with Adventures in Ministry and Lads2Leaders and Exposure Youth Camp. And so we have those three kind of work together and sharing some of our screens, projectors, speakers, and such, and people and stuff like that. So
that's correct.
Really neat thing for that. Well, transitioning out of that into something else, I got an announcement I'll make, and then we're going to get into our Versus series. I noticed that Doug Smith is watching. I wonder if it's because he cares so much about Lads2Leaders, or he really is looking forward to the Versus series.
I think he's looking forward to the Versus series, Paul.
He loves Lads too. Scott Cole jumping in here, and we also have Tim Hall. So we got the room's filling up. Kristen Sampson has jumped in here. She's watching, and this is our illustrious, infamous, and most awesome producer's wife.
She's making sure Caleb's actually working.
Yeah. Well, she's like, well, he's technically not working. He's with Jon Paul. But
that's right.
Yeah, but I want to say, and I can't say too much yet, but I will say, because she is watching, we may have us a little announcement by next week's show.
That's correct.
There is a possibility that we may be adding another Facebook Live event / possible podcast to the AIM network. And so we're working things out and trying to get contracts signed and trying to solidify producers and things like that, and making sure Chad Lanneman likes the logo and things like that.
A lot of money involved.
A lot of things changing from hands to hands, so in all good ways. So I'm not saying that. Okay.
Don't worry about me saying things.
I know, right? Yeah. My wife ought to. Okay, so that being said, John, I think that it's that time.
Is it?
I think it is. As Caleb moves very quickly around. Okay. You ready, John?
Sure.
It's now time for the Versus series.
That was kind of scary, Paul.
Bring it in.
I ain't gonna lie, that was kind of scary right there. Since we're in our Versus series, tell people a little bit of what we're talking about with this Versus series, Paul. I know we've been going on for a little bit, and people like it, and then they're loving it.
And please know these Versus series are actually are actually individualized and put on YouTube. So please go to our YouTube channel at Jon and Paul Show to watch these and watch as many as you want to, and share them and then email them out to everybody. Here's the thing to understand. What we do is take two things that are similar or different, and we try to define the similarities and the differences. So we've talked about restaurants. We've talked about quick lunches, sandwich lunches. We've talked about we had a superhero one once.
We did.
Doing one soon about a theme park. How to do that next week. So we'll announce that one. I'm getting no nods or no yeses on that, but anyway, I think we're doing the theme parks next week, so we'll get to that at the end of the show. This Versus series is between sporting rivalries. All right, and I think it's good. We talked about doing one from the North versus the South. I think that's probably unfair because it's like a restaurant to the North versus a restaurant to the South. Everyone who are our friends on Facebook are all from the South, although we love our folks in the North and hope you'll watch, participate, and be a part of this. So,
I'm dying.
I lost a lung. But today we're going to talk about the difference between and they call themselves the Dukies. I think that's funny. I think that's, roughly.
Dukies.
The Dukies versus the Tar Heels in basketball versus the University of Alabama and Auburn University, the Iron Bowl in college football. So a basketball rivalry versus a football rivalry, both in the South. I think anyone should be able to say this is probably the two best Southern rivalries in existence in college football.
Mm-hmm.
But today we're going to keep score here, and this is what we're going to start doing. And I'm pulling something new on Caleb, so it won't happen on this show, but it'd be cool if we could have our scoreboard we'll pull up, and maybe in later shows where we will, put things against one another and see which one wins out. So this came to me literally 3 seconds ago. So that's a thing. So there's things we're going to look at, some history we're going to read and apply when it comes to both rivalries, John. So from the beginning, from the very cover of the book, UNC and the Dukies versus the Iron Bowl, where are you at? Don't give us a vote yet, because we talked about our vote. And honestly, I've got a favoritism on both sides. I like both rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
But John, give us some commentary on you. Give us a dialogue on where you're at. What do you think? And what do you think? I don't even know what the poll looks like, but you tell me.
Well, Paul, I definitely think that I will admit I'm definitely a little skewed. Not only being from down here in the South and we love our football, but not really necessarily followed basketball that often. To at least not like I would a football game or something like that. And when you look at what takes place, there definitely is nothing better in basketball than watching Duke and North Carolina. I've got to admit that. There have been some huge games between those two from some great players from back in the days of Michael Jordan and Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, all those guys that have come through and played in those games, and just some classic games. North Carolina shuts down for them.
Yeah.
The state, it is the national holiday, and it is very similar to the Iron Bowl because people talk about it, 365 and everything. I guess my one thing I would automatically sit here and say, but they get to play twice a year, at minimum.
At minimum.
Where the Iron Bowl is once a year, 365 days waiting for it.
Right, that's correct. Although, this year North Carolina and Duke played 3 times.
Yeah.
And actually, they probably played 3 times most years because of the tournament. And that's because usually they're on the separate sides of the bracket. They come on in.
Mm-hmm.
That it turns out one or the other. But yeah, and with Auburn, Alabama, there is a chance if both teams take care of their business, there might be a chance one day where both of them might be in the Final Four of college football. Ironically enough, and you mentioned it before, Auburn is in the Final Four in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad they have that. That's good. It's good for them. It's good for SEC.
Mm-hmm.
But John, we have a few comparisons we need to look at.
We do.
From the very beginning to what started first, to distance from rivalries, okay, to who's won the most, how many championships they have. Things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 facts. 4
okay.
Facts, that we have. We need 5. So all you got to do is come up with 1.
Okay. Well, you start then, and then I'll go with it.
So the first one is the year in which the rivalry began.
Okay.
The year in which the rivalry began. Actually, the UNC Dookie, I love saying that. The Dookie rivalry actually began in the early 1800s, but it wasn't basketball. It was a rivalry between families and some family squabbles. So it's almost a Romeo and Juliet type of situation. To Google that, it actually comes down to really, really weird situation, but really close situation as well. But officially, the basketball game being considered, or football game being considered a rivalry for Duke UNC started in 1929. Okay.
Okay.
1929. The Iron Bowl, Alabama versus Auburn, started. The first rivalry was in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Earlier or later? What do you think?
Later.
1893.
Really?
1893. So I would have to say the rivalry that's lasted the longest has to be the Iron Bowl because obviously it's older.
Okay.
So 1 goes to the Iron Bowl. All right.
Okay.
1 goes to the Iron Bowl. All right. The next one. How about the attendance at that game?
Let me see here. 1,000.
For which game?
Iron Bowl.
Oh, Podine, you were so close. I mean, like, absolutely on the dot close if you would have picked the other one. The first game between UNC and Duke had an attendance of 1,000 people.
Really?
1,000 fans showed up for that game. Okay, so Iron Bowl, over under 1,000.
Oh, over then.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Some thought 450, but the majority of the people that do the research say 5,000 people showed up for that game. So on numbers of people who attended, Iron Bowl gets point number 2. So it's 2-0 right now. All right, but the table's about to turn. This is an easy answer.
Okay.
Its rivalry lives the closest to each other.
Oh, I think that's Duke, North Carolina.
No doubt about it. The Dukies only live 10 miles away from the Tar Heels mansion. So 10 miles apart versus what we got, 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah, something like that.
Auburn, so I don't have the mileage on that. But 150, I don't know, some miles. So definitely one goes over to the Tar Heel Duke bandwagon with it. So 2-1. 2-1.
2-1. Okay. I'm working on mine. You just keep going.
Good. So that's 3. I got one more.
Okay.
This one is the number of championships between teams. The number of championships between teams. Now, do you want to do yours before I get to this last one, or do you want yours to be the blockbuster last one?
I'll let mine be the last one.
Okay.
Because it is interesting here. It'll be an interesting conversation. I finally figured one out.
Good. All right. Who has the most championships between the two? Now, please know we're talking about tournament championships for basketball. We're talking national championships for football. Those championships are those recorded
from
the beginning of college football and the beginning of the tournament to today on that. So what do you think about that?
Oh, man. So you are talking about conference ACC titles and national titles, or just national titles?
Only national titles. Okay,
well, Alabama claims 32.
That's not true.
I know.
I would expect an Alb like you to say something like that.
Oh, my word. What is that? Alabama has 18, 17. What are they up to now? What's Alabama up to now?
Is that cheating if I tell you?
No, because you know the answer to that.
I do know the answer to that. I have a helmet with a number on it.
I know you do. That's why I'm asking you.
I've got one that says 12, one that says 13, one that says 14, one that says 15, 16, and 17.
So 17. They were trying for 18 this year.
That's right.
So 17, Auburn has 1, correct?
Auburn, I can't believe an Auburn Tiger like you had missed that question. I figured you would like your team.
Oh, give it a break.
So anybody who
No, Florida has 3.
Okay, so they have 2.
They have 2. Okay.
Yeah, they have 2.
They have 2. So, so that's 19.
19. Clock's ticking, Pono.
I would have to say Duke and North Carolina.
Really? Interesting.
I mean, just because of basketball.
Yeah. Do you know which one has the most between the 2? Would you like to guess? I'm not gonna make a guess. It would shock you. I would have thought Duke.
I would think Duke.
Duke has like 194 tournament victories. Like
wow.
Game.
Right.
Be like 94. But UNC has 6 national championships. Duke has 5.
Also, only 11 between the 2.
So, Iron Bowl gets 3. UNC and Duke gets 1.
Oh, well, I got one now coming. Don't worry. You ready for mine?
We need some more to kind of make it come down to the last one, I guess.
Well, this will be an interesting one.
So
Okay. So in football, they give the top player of the year the what? The Heisman Award.
Yeah.
Basketball gives the Naismith Award for top player of the years.
Right.
So, would you want to venture to guess which rivalry has the more college player of the year award?
Oh, there's no doubt. I know the answer to that one.
You do.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
Because Auburn has 2 Heisman Trophy winners.
3. I found that they have 3.
Oh yeah, duh. Okay, Cam. All right. So you have Bo,
Mm-hmm.
you have Pat,
Mm-hmm.
and you have Cam.
Cam. Yep.
Weird, because I'm not an Auburn fan yet. I know that answer. Okay.
Good job.
But it's just 3. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that many.
Yeah.
Of course, I say that.
Because Alabama's even lower. They got 2 is what they have you down for. They Henry and who else got it? Oh, Mark Ingram. Didn't he get it?
2.
Look at that. I'm not an Alabama fan, and I knew that.
Well, that means you have hope. We can bring you back. All right. So
Florida has 3.
Fireball has 5. There's no doubt in my mind that between Dookie and the Tar Heels, they have more than 5.
Okay, out of the 2, who do you think has more Naismith Players of the Year?
Oh, Duke. Duke does.
Yes, Duke has 7 in their history, 7 Players of the Year, Naismith Award winners. North Carolina has had 3.
Yeah, that's about right. Is one of the 3 Michael Jordan?
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
which is why I'm a Carolina fan. And me and Daniel actually had this conversation. He's a Duke fan, which makes complete sense. Because for some reason we always seem to fall on the wrong side of each other when it comes to sports.
Yes, you do.
Of the Braves. He's actually a Braves fan. I found that out the other day, so there's hope. That's good. But yeah, it's in the SEC. Auburn fans don't have to do this anymore. But in the SEC, for us Bama fans, we don't really have a basketball program. So or not one that goes as far as what Auburn has done, obviously, or not recently anyway. And so you pick another team to follow, to give you a reason to watch the tournament. So,
outside your own conference, right?
So back in the 80s, it was Michael Jordan because his school that he couldn't only make the high school team, but he ends up being a superstar and even retires his prime twice.
That's correct, and I still think he's the best basketball player of all time.
I do too. So I guess what that means is the Iron Bowl wins, right?
Let me just say this, and I'm not for either. I went to my first Iron Bowl, 2 years ago?
I guess, yeah.
Something like that. And look, there's the pageantry that comes on through between the Iron Bowl, I think is nothing compared. And I just have to say, I think it blows Duke and North Carolina's basketball out of the water.
I'm with you. I like Landon's comment. Nick Saban has turned Auburn into a basketball school.
Oh my word!
I mean, sorry, I know you don't like hearing that. You Auburn fans, but it's just what it is. But hey,
Bruce Pearl's turned Auburn into a basketball school.
Yeah, Bruce Pearl has Auburn into a basketball school.
Yes. Yeah. Who does Nick Saban have the most losses against? Do you know?
Well, it's not Bruce Pearl. I know that.
No, but it is Auburn.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, we could get Alabama Auburn list and see who. It probably took you a while to find that one, though. But good job. That's good on you.
Aren't you proud of me? Aren't you proud of me?
I'm glad that you, as an Auburn fan, can find something.
Oh my goodness.
For football.
I'm going to stab Paul with my baster.
Having this show separate, it can't bother me. I will say this. I mean this in all. Just when I say this, congratulations to Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers. They've done something they've never done before, and represent the SEC in the Final Four. And
well, I was shocked, Paul. I didn't know that the state of Alabama has never made it this far. Like no team in the state of Alabama. I didn't that Alabama nor Auburn had made it this far.
Why does that shock you?
It just does. I mean, I would have thought at least once in history somebody wouldn't have.
The Elite Eight once.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I even saw Jay Barker tweet out congratulations to Auburn. I thought I was about to pass out when I saw that one.
Sounds good. That's good. I mean, in football, there was 5 or 6 years where if you were in Alabama, you won the national championship. Nobody else could. They hated us.
Oh, absolutely.
Cam came in there for that year, so that helped.
From
Plug the whole
Florida.
other Alabama national championships. That was good. But it is what it is. Both rivalries are good. The UNC and Duke, obviously, it's a lot of fun to watch because they're so close together, and it was a family problem back in the 1800s that has continued to be a rivalry today. So technically, you get that because they technically start earlier. So that makes it a 4-2, I guess. 4-2.
Yeah.
4-2. So that, I guess, John, ends our Versus series for the week.
It does.
John, tell them what we're going to be doing for Versus series for next week.
Oh, we are getting into theme park discussions.
We are.
Disney, this came actually from your daughter, so let's give her props on this.
It did.
Disney versus Universal. Which would you rather go to? And Paul and I are on different sides of this.
We are?
Yeah.
I just think that you Marvel fans, I think you'll be going with the Universal side. Sorry.
I'm not Universal.
I'm saying the Marvel fans will go Universal.
Oh.
Actually, 2 summers ago?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I was able to do some park hopping.
You did.
In 2 days, 2 or 3 days? One of the coolest trips I ever took. And we took some college students from Faulkner. It was Tucker and Jonah. That was such a trip. I'll never forget. And Stephanie. Oh my goodness. And so
Stephanie with an F.
Yeah, Stephanie with an F. No, not really. But anyway. Well, John.
Well, Paul. Let's give it up to the Braves for winning a series.
Thank you to the Cubs for coming to town. Wow, we really game's back.
Tell me about
it. Pitching's good if we can keep the starters in there.
Oh yeah.
I can't pronounce his last name, but Mike.
Poltawitsky.
Pitched a great game at Gwinnett last night. He's got 2 more tryouts or 2 more games.
Yep.
And he'll be back in Atlanta, and I think he's ready to come back. He went 5 innings, struck out 2 or 3, walked a couple, no runs. So
yeah,
of course it's AAA. But anyway, good on them for that. You got Final Four this weekend, John, and you got Jamboree this weekend, John, and let's see.
Find some sleep in there somewhere.
And the Shazam movie came out today. Actually, last night.
It did.
Not yet, but by the weekend I will. And by next show, we'll give you our thoughts on the Shazam movie. Because we got to call them that now. But anyway, speaking of that, go back and watch a few Ministry Cafes. Got a few on that. And April's cool. You got Shazam, and you got Endgame with Adventures and some other things. And so pretty cool stuff happening with that.
That sounds good, my brother.
Yeah. And then, of course, tax day. You filed, right? You already done that.
I already filed.
Me too.
Yes.
Ooh. So a versus series could be tax day versus what?
Which days are the worst? A visit to the dentist?
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Right. Well, for Caleb Sampson behind the glass at the AIM Studio North, I am Paul Sperlin at AIM Studio South, and that is Jon Paul. This has been the Jon and Paul Show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for witnessing the greatness of the Lads2Leaders program. We want to bid everyone congratulations ahead of time for all your hard work on that. Thank you for participating in our Versus series. Get out there. The poll probably out there before the day's out today. Hit it for next week. Go to YouTube. Don't forget Jon A.N.D. Paul Show. Just type it in and go everywhere. Go crazy.
Go fly.
Allons Church of Christ. Love those guys. That eldership for letting our guy do what he does. Caleb, love him much. The Palisades Church of Christ. Love those guys for allowing me to do what I do. Thank you for Lads2Leaders for letting Jon do what he does, and for Lads2Leaders for what they are. Thank you so much. And, of course, adventuresinministry.com. Go there. The newsletter comes out the 15th of every month. Enjoy. Take part. It's all free. We love you. Jon and Paul Show. This is it. Have a great day. God bless you, and get out there and bless somebody else's life.
Amen.
Today's show is brought to you by Adventures in Ministry. Check them out at adventuresinministry.com or go to the Google Play Store or iTunes App Store and download today. Also brought to you by Exposure Youth Camp, or EYC. It's hosted at the end of each year. This year it will be December 27th through the 30th, and you can find out more by going to exposureyouthcamp.com or get the apps today. Also brought to you by the Palisades Church of Christ, located in Birmingham, Alabama. Check them out at palisadesfamily.net. The schedule of the Jon and Paul Show coming up. If you have the opportunity to be with them, check it out. Or go to our website, jonandpaulshow.com, to know more. Of course, we want to invite you to come back next Friday at 10 a.m., Lord willing. We'll be with you to have all the ministry talk and the sports talk as well. Hope you go out and make it a great day.